Hi guys, and welcome to some footage from the Crew 2. This was the demo that we got our hands on with at the E3 show floor. So wasn't the Crew 2 an amazing reveal trailer? You know, the first Crew as well, it was incredible, and they've certainly outdone themselves with the second trailer. And you know, the Crew 2 is really opening up the boundaries, more so than we've seen in pretty much any racing game so far. You know, you can take to the skies in these amazing planes. You know, there's some helicopters there, you can jump into a speedboat. There's a heavy focus on racing that none of us could see coming. You know, incredible way they've made the series evolve here with this new focus. And we've got some action here of the Porsche GT3 RS in the chase cam, and it's looking pretty stunning, isn't it? This was one complaint that many had about the Crew 1, was the visuals just wasn't interesting enough. And of course we had the free updates with when the Wild Run update kicked in, and you had that free graphical update, which improved things immensely. But still, it certainly has come a long way now. Seeing this footage here of the Crew 2, you see some very nice reflection effects and some nice lighting as well, so it looks a lot better. Of course, it's still set in the US of A, which many people were disappointed about. It certainly wasn't something we was expecting, but then again, I believe the Crew 1 took somewhere in the region of 7 years to create. So, you know, with development time that long, it was perhaps expected that, you know, they would reuse assets, considering that they turned this game around pretty quickly, and it is coming next year. So, you know, 2018, we say 2017 has been an amazing year, or will be an amazing year, and of course it will be. But, you know, don't underestimate 2018 as well for racing games. It certainly will be another amazing year. We've got all the yearly sequels, of course. We've got this game coming up. We've got GTR 3, and goodness knows what else we're going to get. Maybe Gravel's been delayed to 2018. So it certainly will be a very strong year again next year for racing games. So again, we're going to be flat out next year, no doubt, covering all these games. But it's what we do. It's what we love to do. So it's all good stuff. But this is just a short video showing off the game, and you know, it's looking stunning. You can see the way the world sort of warps there. That's really odd, and it does sort of catch me by surprise every time I see it. But I'm going to be jumping into some speedboat action now. Speedboats, you know, it's not something you often see in racing games. You know, water races in general are pretty far and few between. We do have the recent, last year was Riptide GP Renegade, and we had Aquamoto Racing Utopia, which was good to see. You know, both pretty good games, but it's good to see some more water racing. I've just got to say though, judging by this gameplay, it seems the boats glide a little bit too smoothly over the surface, but then again, these are very high performance boats, so perhaps this is how they are in real life. So, you know, it's a good bit of fun. It's almost like GTA style now, isn't it? They're really sort of opening up the boundaries. You can fly through the air in between buildings, and, you know, take part in a sort of Red Bull-esque race, Red Bull air race, I should say. And also, obviously, you can get onto the water as well and do some jumps and stuff. So it really is. It seems like a step above Forza Horizon in the sense that you've got so much more to do. And this was sort of kind of expected in a way, because we're seeing more and more the boundaries opened up in racing games. You know, say take Forza Horizon 1 for instance. You had, you know, you're basically more or less stuck to the road because you couldn't really get off road. And then number 2, you could go off road, and number 3, they expanded that. And of course, we had the Crew where you could go anywhere, and the Crew 2 is just opening it up even more. So it seems like more and more it's becoming, the racing genre is, you know, people are so demanding. You know, these packages are becoming more and more comprehensive. You know, we see Project Cars and Project Cars 2, incredible amounts of content, and it's just becoming the expected. It's just becoming expected now. So because the expectation is so high, you know, there's so much pressure on these developers to deliver amazing packages with, you know, tons and tons of content. So I guess this was where it was always going to go, and no doubt Forza Horizon 4 in 2 years' time will have planes, will have boats and all sorts, perhaps submarines. You know, where else can we go? But it's good to see this sort of freedom. But for me, it's all about the driving on the roads really. But this will be a sort of fun distraction. But as long as the driving's good in the Crew 2, I'm certainly going to have a lot of fun with it, and hopefully the sounds will be improved, no doubt. I have seen heard a few cars, and it does seem like they've made big strides in that area, which was one complaint that I had. You know, the cars just sounded all the same to me, and I want to know the difference between this car and this car. I want to hear that difference. So it's such a shame when you see the cars that all sound very similar. They have no soul. So it's good to see they're making strides in those areas. But anyway, that was a quick look at some of the various aspects in the Crew 2, and we'll have more on the game, no doubt, in the coming months. Of course, you can sign up for the beta on the PC, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so do check that out if you haven't yet, and we'll have more on the Crew 2, no doubt, in the coming months. Thanks for watching.
Well, how do you like it? Makes me feel